Hey everybody, and welcome to the Athlete Rules section of the Season 6 National Ninja League Rulebook. In this section, we are going to be covering waivers, different divisions, dress code, code of conduct, points, prizes, and qualifying and tracking various results. So starting off in the waivers section, basically this just says that athletes need to fill out a Season 6 waiver prior to competing. The waiver should have their complete first and last name, and it needs to have their NinjaWorks ID. So that's super important. If you're not sure what I'm talking about with the NinjaWorks ID, that can be found in the NinjaWorks training section. But effectively, each athlete is assigned a unique number that helps us track results across various comps. And that can be located on our website or on the NinjaWorks website, and effectively that needs to be linked to the waiver. If it is not effectively linked, we will have no idea of knowing if the athlete has their waiver, and we will have no way of tracking their results across various comps. So super important, just making sure that they have that athlete ID, and again, that it's their legal name. Divisions. So youth divisions, I don't need to read this to you. Just note that these are the age divisions, and they effectively cannot be changed. The athletes need to fall into these age divisions, and these are the age divisions that you need to be hosting at NNL qualifiers. Fun thing to note: we are adding an elite division, and you can see here the young adults have the option to compete in that elite division. So, what is the elite division, you ask? So the elite division is for athletes that are 15 and up. Young adults, and masters all have the option to opt into the elite division if they so choose. But they would need to make that decision before the season starts, before their first competition, I should say, for them. And it's going to stay the entire season. So this is a very important decision that should be taken very seriously. The elite division is intended for very serious athletes only. The way that they finish the course is different than everybody else. The way that they qualify is different than everybody else. And it is really intended to be for very, very high level, the highest level athletes. So it is a very important decision to be thinking about whether or not you want to move into that division or not. So, facilities are not required to host all those divisions. The athlete's age on February 21st, 2021 is going to determine what division the athletes participate in for the entire NNL season. And all athletes must compete in their respective divisions. Obviously, the young adults, and masters all have the option to move to the elite division, but still they need to be in those. And there can be no adjustments or exceptions made to those divisions. The divisions are what they are. Dress code. Pretty much this says you gotta wear shoes, gotta wear shirt, and you have to wear some type of bottoms. Pants for lack of a better word. But effectively we are expecting the facilities to be enforcing it on an individual level, deciding what constitutes a shirt, bottom, or shoes. But generally speaking, you do need to wear those things when you compete. Code of conduct. Pretty standard. You can find it on the website. You need to adhere to it. It basically states that you need to be an upstanding citizen. You need to make sure that you're not a direct threat to anybody, that you're not threatening anybody at events, that you're adhering to the rules, the policies, etc., and that you are just in general being a good-natured human being in order to compete in National Ninja League competition. Points. So athletes are going to be accumulating points on a regional level, and it's based on the place that you end up in at the competition. So first place is 10 points, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc., so on and so forth. So the points are going to do a couple of things. So they're going to be dictating the run order at the regional championship. And this year, which I'm going to be getting to in a minute, but effectively, because of COVID, putting such a strain on competitions and on facilities, we're going to have a slightly modified route to Worlds this year because we can't have the same magnitude event that we have had in previous years, so we're going to have to scale back. So one of the ways of qualifying directly to the World Championship, instead of going to the regional, as you can already see, you're probably wondering what's going on with this run order at regional championships. Yeah, we're going to have to move to regionals and downsize Worlds just because we can't have that large of gatherings. But anyways, one way of qualifying for Worlds is being the top 3 in points per age division, per gender, in the regular season in your region for points. That is one way of qualifying directly to Worlds. You're probably wondering now, what are we going to do in terms of qualifying for Worlds through the regional championship? And don't worry, we're going to be getting to that. But first, prizes. So all NNL and RNL qualifiers must have the following prizes: first, second, third place, something memorable, trophies, custom memorabilia, printed certificates, something that they can immediately take home from the award from the competition at the award ceremony. And then the elite division must have a cash prize of $100 for the top male and top female. So that moved over, that prize money moved over to the elite division. It's the most competitive. It's where we expect all the competition to be taking place. So that is where that $100 minimum prize will be going. Obviously, you can do as much as you want. You can do $1 million if you want it, but the minimum is $100. All right, qualifying and result tracking, what everybody's waiting for. So general result tracking, you need to use our NinjaWorks system. It keeps the NNL running. It tracks the events flawlessly, and super important, needs to be used. If you have an odd scenario where like maybe your Wi-Fi is god awful and you want to request to input the data, you can, but it needs to be a request because we need to work with you to make sure that it gets tracked properly and gets updated properly. We very much don't recommend it, but in dire situations, we can make it work. But again, we need to be notified. Ranking the athletes. So again, we alluded to this in the skills rules, but the skills, the athletes will receive an individual skill ranking and then an overall ranking that originates from the athlete's performance on each independent skills. It's a combination of it. And again, it's like that reverse order. So first place is 1 point, 13th is 3. And then you combine them together. This again, it's a reiteration of the rules. It's talking about how time scales, how they're going to be ranked. So for fastest completion, it's going to be ranked by the fastest time or the furthest distance. The longest time will rank the referee will rank the athletes based on who can do the skill for the longest period of time, and then kind of bump down from there. So slower times, times that didn't last quite as long, will be ranked in that order. Repetition skill, it's going to be ranked based on reps and time. So, if 2 athletes had 13 reps, it would be whichever athlete got to 13 reps quicker. And then an overall ranking will be the combined, all of those scores, and then the lowest points will take the overall ranking in the skill challenge. And disclaimer, if an athlete does not participate in a skill, rank will be assumed last. All right, course, this is traditional. We're very much used to this. The referee will track the time, total number of obstacles, start the timer at the beginning. They'll get 1 point for completing each obstacle or linked obstacle, depending on how you look at it. And when the athlete fails, referee hits the fail button, and then it's going to mark the time the athlete to the last completed obstacle. So that's how we're going to be ranking the athletes. It's going to be to the last completed obstacle. Once their data is collected, the athletes will be sorted based on the greatest number of obstacles completed in the least amount of time, and then all age divisions and genders will be sorted independently. Qualifying for the National Ninja League Regional Championship. So this is the important part. Full disclaimer before I dive into the qualification process. We are obviously disappointed that we're not going to be doing Worlds 2021 in the way that we did Worlds 2020 with the largest ninja competition in the world. Unfortunately, the circumstances surrounding COVID and the amount of financial commitment and planning commitment that we need to make months in advance to make a Worlds event happen of that magnitude, we just can't commit to at this time, but we want to run the season regularly. So because of that, we're going to be doing a modified plan where we go regionals and then to Worlds, so that we have a smaller athlete pool, more flexibility, more opportunity to shift schedule around if the world goes into a second or third lockdown, or if people still aren't traveling at that point. Now, that being said, it's not a complete loss. It is definitely disappointing, but there are some exciting things that this means. This means the opportunity for us to capitalize a lot on the video and media content side of things. So since we have a much smaller athlete pool, we're going to be able to do a lot more in terms of featuring those athletes within the live stream and doing profiles and videos and stuff that we really think is going to take the sport to another level, because we can do a lot more, given the less athletes. So for those select few athletes that do qualify for this special World Championship, they are going to definitely benefit a lot and see a lot of cool things happen surrounding the World Championship, something that's going to be really special that we have not been able to do in previous years. So in some ways it is slightly disappointing, but in some ways it is very exciting to see what we are going to be able to do moving forward. All right, that being said, enough of me rambling. Let's go into how to actually qualify for the regional championship. So in order to qualify, the athlete needs to complete an obstacle or a skill. They can't get there without at least getting one check box off in the competition that they're in. Each division is going to have its own male and female qualifiers. So each age division is going to have three male, 3 female qualifiers. Athletes will be ranked based on most obstacles completed in the least amount of time, and athletes in all age divisions except for the elite division, again I said this is going to be different, must be in the top 3 for their age division and gender in order to qualify. So they must place in the top 3 in that competition to qualify. The elite division is going to be the top 2. So again, it's a much more serious competition, and that's going to affect. It's going to drive competition. It's going to be much harder to qualify through that elite division as it should be. Athletes can only qualify at one event, but they can participate in as many events as they want. And in the event an athlete's qualifying position, they've already qualified for the regional championship, the spot will move on to the next highest ranked athlete. In the event that an athlete refuses a qualifying spot for some reason, the event coordinator can move it to the next person in line. But this is something that needs to be done at the event. So we're not going to be calling alternates. We're not going to find out a month later we found out that they're not going to go to regionals. They want the next athlete to bump in. No, it needs to be noted to the event coordinator the day of the event. So, moving on. So you've now got all these athletes that are qualified for the regional. The qualifications are region specific. You can qualify in as many regions as you want. I should have mentioned that in reading the rules earlier, but you can qualify in as many regions as you want. But now that you've qualified for regionals, how do you qualify from that to the World Championship? So in order to qualify, an athlete, again, must have completed an obstacle or a skill. We're going to take the top athletes in their respective division for male and female. Athletes are going to be ranked based on the most obstacles completed in the least amount of time, and the athletes must finish in the top 3. So yes, that is right. You must be in the top 3 in your age division, in your gender, in order to qualify for Worlds. So that means we're going to be taking 3 from the points and 3 from the regionals and funneling them into Worlds. Like I said, this is going to be the most elite group of people ever at a NNL Worlds competition, and I personally am very excited about what we're going to be able to do with that. Speaking of elites, the elite division, it is only going to be the top 2, so it's going to be the top 2 per age division, per gender, qualifying for Worlds. So it is going to be very seriously competitive. It's going to be very exciting to watch how this season unfolds. So that covers the athlete rules. I hope everybody's as excited as I am for the upcoming season. The last section that we're going to be covering in the NNL rulebook is going to be the rules violation section. So jump on over there and I will see you guys there.